with you. Choreographer, thought you was lit to leave the room. Come to the puppet show. What we playing with the plastic dolls. They'll do anything, anything, anything. When you got them hanging by a string, by a string. Gonna play with the toys.
Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we're taking a look at XG's puppet show, the choreography version. So many of you guys have wanted me to take a look at this group. I have not seen any of their choreography, so I'm very excited to look at this. And I just can't wait to get into it. Let's just go ahead and get started, see what it's all about.
It's time I get what I deserve. Act like you don't know what I'm worth. We spend a lot of time talking.
Wow.
Feels like I'm never heard. Listen to what comes out my mouth before you try to take me out. You ought to know what I'm about. Treat me like a lady. This ain't up for debating. We'll stop playing before we go a different route. Imagine a world where we could play different roles, where girls be taking control.
Wow.
They couldn't tell us no. Welcome to the puppet show. What we're playing with the
I loved her headpiece so much.
they'll do anything, anything, anything. When you got them hanging by a string, by a string. Gotta play
Love the hook on this track.
We'll make 'em do what we enjoy. They'll do anything when you got 'em by a string. Don't like the look of this picture. Or you think that I'm in love with you? Choreographer, thought you was lit to leave the room extra. I'ma do it my way. Ain't apologetic. I'ma cut you off like Revelation with it. I'm in control. Time like Atari. It ain't game over till I say
Hey, there's so many things that I'm processing through about this. Really great formations. I love the whole dome of CG that we're seeing right now. It doesn't feel real. Do you know what I'm saying? But I know they're real people. But this looks so cool. Like I would see this in a video game. That's what it feels like. And there's no one that's sticking out, meaning like, ooh, I can tell they're not really like the dancer of the group. Like I feel like everybody's holding their own equally, which is so important for groups that do choreo like this. It's tasteful, it's not overkill, it's also they're not doing so much where they couldn't do this live. Like I feel like they could do this live.
Just leave a whole thing up to me.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Welcome to the puppet show. When we're playing with the plastic dolls, they'll do anything, anything. When you got 'em hanging by a string, by a string.
Wow. Normally when you see people lip sync too, it just feels off, but it really looked like she was singing it while she was doing it there. Love that. Look at that right there. That was nice. That was cool. Part of me was like, didn't really know what to expect at all. Of course, because I'd never seen the group before, but I know so many of you were talking to me about it. But, yeah, that was mad cool. Let's just talk through it from the top. Initial thoughts. I loved it. I love the costume. This headpiece is killing me in the best way possible. Like, for real. That's probably what contributed to making her specifically not look like a real person. Like, a lot of them don't look real. So kudos to the person who did the hair, the stylist, and the people who did the makeup. And I know one of them had 2 different eye colors in this. And I know, of course, they're contacts, but that was super cool. How they started this here. Cameraography, I would say at first, part of me was like, oh, I really wish I was able to see a little bit more than just, like, I just felt like the cut of the cameras, it just felt like I was not seeing the full picture as much as I wanted to, but that's part of it. Part of it, it's like my first time seeing the group. I always prefer a fixed angle sometimes too, and I know there's a dance practice, but this is out and this looks really cool and a great introduction to the whole aesthetic of the crew, which is why I'm reacting to it in this way. But I really do like looking at fixed points because you're able to see all the visuals that the choreographer sets in. But here, the camera really helps bring those visuals to life. So it's kind of pros and cons whenever you look at it that way. The poses are really fun. This whole beginning is nice. It's clean. They set it up really well just with some arms. Nothing crazy, but also knowing that backbeat is just bum, bum, but nothing crazy happening, so they don't need to do anything crazy. And I love the fact when they walk and then they slowly start adding the shoulders. And you have one person, they have somebody in a column behind, and then they break out. Really fast turnaround time to get into that formation. So that was really cool. It's either a cut to the camera or what, but I really like that, and I'm assuming that's what they have to do live. Love that. The little knock is really fun, and I know that some of their finger articulations are really nice too, because it feels like they're, I know the puppet show, you know, strings, that kind of thing, so that's kind of like the really fancy way that people control, or we see it on TV and stuff, right? Right there, spend a lot of time, just the combination is really fun. Yeah, so even there, I will say though, just in this very beginning, I'm even gonna just touch on it, I think I saw it just briefly, there's like one or two, whether it was like either the shoulder or the hand, like it was just really small in detail. It was like the head, like not everybody rotated the head the same range. And let me tell you this though, whenever you see a group that is clean and the only issues are just baby micro ranges from one or two people, but it's not the same person every time, just shows you the competence of the entire crew. Like everybody, there's not anybody, I mean, if you look here, notice one of them dropped her arms just slightly a little bit sooner than the other, but it's because of how I stopped it, one of the runs, but it's just very impressive. I like that. And just how they carry themselves is not overly dramatic, and it feels like it meshes so well. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, I just feel like they have a lot of really good qualities about how they come across that makes it really enjoyable. Yeah, it doesn't look cringy. You know what I'm saying? You know, like sometimes when you watch K-pop and you're like, ooh, you know, there's some of these boy groups that like do this, and that to me just, it sets off a cringe alarm for me, but I still watch it and sometimes it works. Here, I didn't get that once and I loved it. I love this concept on them. I love that. And how she goes boom, boom. So for me too, whenever you decide to do, it appears that they were strobing, boom, boom, I don't know. Yeah, well, some of them are approaching it with really a lot of body control, going from point A to point B, so like a strobing nuance. Some of them were taking more of a ticking. That can make it look slightly different, and that's just what I noticed there. And some of them were really popping into it, and others were dime stopping into it, and that's the difference between the two, is your muscles and how you choose to use them. It's very micro, and not a lot of, you know, not a lot of crews go through those types of differentiations, you know, but it's still really cool. The fact that it's very clear what I'm looking at, the fact that I can even see that is super cool. I love this here, and it pans over and it goes into my next person. Super fun. This was cool when she goes out. It's shifted the camera to really make it shift to a different angle, but it works really cool. Yeah, so we go da 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 and up. Did you see how long her nails are? Oh my gosh, how does she not take out her eyeball? Because that is how I would happen to me if I'm sitting here doing all this and I go ha ha. I'm gonna take out my eye, hurt my eyelash or something. But I'm impressed with the fact that they're able to. It just makes it look really nice. That was fun where she goes and she pulls them down. It's just nice, a little simple and effective. That's fun too. Oh, just having that, it just feels so natural. And I think that's what I love about it, is that's why it doesn't look real, is the flooring, of course the CGI around it, what they're wearing, and just how they look on their face. It just looks so natural that I'm like, nah, surely these kind of nuances, it needs to look like you put in a little more effort. Like that's what it feels like I should see. But this looks like, this is nothing. You just get to see us do us, and this is the most natural thing we've ever done in our lives, which is so, so cool to see from a girl group. And it's not like overly simple, and it's not overly complex either. It's this beautiful, like it has this nice little sway about it, but it's not overly aggressive, and it's not bad A, and it's not sexy. It's just, it's tasteful, you know? It just feels, it feels like a vibe, you know? And I love it. That right here, this right here, boom, boom, boom. And I know a lot of these hooks in these K-pop groups, they really want to make it to where the choreography is very obtainable for people who do TikTok or Instagram or, you know, whatever, YouTube, all that, you know. But there's a lot of range that they're choosing to pursue that they are tricky to get 100% right. I did notice whenever they had their arms out, one of them was slightly too tall. Guys, that's still like, I had to pause it to actually notice that. When I noticed it, I didn't notice it the first time. And I think the hook really helps. I actually genuinely like the track. This sounds really cool, and I think I would just listen to it, because sometimes dances make the song sound better. I think the song makes this dance look better. Like it's the opposite. And normally it's you really have to rely so much on the dance, but this feels like the dance is great. I really like the song, and I think they mesh really well together. By a string. And so now I already know it. Yeah, and I like the fact, I don't know why they went with the two different colors. I don't know if there's like a whole back concept that's happening with them, but it's just different, and it's cool. This whole little pickup right here, it's a vibe, you know? And it just feels so fun. And I think the fact that we're seeing this, like the hands so close, and you know, because they got a second hand worth of nails on there too, which is what makes it just look so cool. Yeah, boom, doom, doom, push and push, and it hits those timbres, and I really like it. And they're jumping too, and it's not like happy and cute. It's just we're jumping because we're vibing out, but it's not overkill. Woo! Even with an overhead to an extension, that was fun. I like her tone. Her tone really helps set this up really well. Da-da-da-da. And so the nice sharp staccato that's happening in all of this. She said, "Cry me a river." I think out of everybody, feels the most unreal. I think like the makeup they did on her, phenomenal. Like that's probably what's killing me. It's like her tone too doesn't match the aesthetic of what she's bringing, but it works. But then also she doesn't look real. So of course nothing that her sound or how she look, like this is the whole thing, but like in the best way possible. Like she looks so freaking cool. And I like the fact too that it's not just the same choreo build up. They're doing it, it's different, but it's all collaborative. That was fun. Super, super fun. It's very digestible. I think that's another way to put it too. Ooh, they ended up, so instead of going as like a full hinge around, they used the chest. That was nice. Yeah. Oh, hold on. What were they doing right there? Were they trying to do a head ISO? So they went down, 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 doo, doo. So she was puppeting what they were doing, and they were doing a good job. My one note, if they were doing a head isolation, my one note is when you do choose to do it, you want to make the head a fixed point when you do it. So only way to really get that image across. So I don't know if that was the case. I only saw one of my dancers do it. That would be a fixed point kind of note. Because of this is the concept, the camera cut out, so I can't really give a true, were they actually doing that. My also one other note here, right there. So they ended up fixing it, but you do see that it's a much shorter gap between these guys and then here. So that's just my one little note too. Whenever, that's a camera person's note, where I understand what they were trying to do, but they could have kind of not gone with the aerial shot until we knew they were going to be in that formation, because I don't think it's practical for them to have been evenly dispersed in their spacing, because it's a transition step. So I think that was just a camera or an editor. I think they could have done a better job of making that a little bit not be so spaced out. That was fun. This reminds me of like 21st century Disney, like when Disney Channel movies, I don't know, those who watch these, like, I don't know if you've grew up watching Disney Channel. I did. If you don't know what it is, we'll talk about it in the comments. But basically, like, my generation, we had Disney Channel, and it had like Lizzie McGuire, Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century, the whole thing. So like this kind of like build up vibe, it feels like a Disney Channel futuristic kind of track. But that's why I like it. Like, it has a level of nostalgia in it. And it also feels, you know, and it matches the futuristic vibe that it gives. And I think that's why it's like really ringing well for me, because it feels subtly nostalgic, even though it is not. It's just certain of da 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 da, like that kind of rhythm pattern. I just feel like I've heard that type of rhythm before. But remember, pop music in general is super repetitive in how they choose to structure a lot of their phrasing and their rhythm and the rhythms. So I mean, I'm here for it. I like it though. I like that. Just the kind of threading through is super fun. Yeah, puppet show, da 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 da. I think this is different choreography than the first time, right? It's just it's more groovy and it builds well. So shout out to the choreographer. I know a lot of dances in K-pop tracks have multiple choreographers, so I like the fact that they structured it the way they did here, whether it's one choreographer or multiple. It just is really cohesive, so I'm very impressed with who they chose to do this. I like that da-da-da, da-da-da, super fun. And everybody looks good. Everybody looks good doing it. Not a single person looks awkward. Pop off, yes. Yeah, so we get to see something similar to what we already saw, but they're just moving it around in a different sequence dynamic. Love that. Now, we have seen that already. That was nice. It was a nice angle that we got where they brought this up with the foot. Da, da, da. That looked really nice, and they were very in sync there. She reminds me of Dove Cameron, I think. I think it's just her makeup they did, and how she's holding herself reminds me of her. This was so visually pleasing. She frames it really well. She pushes them out, still maintaining subtle puppeting wordplay imagery. I love it. I like this. Woo, woo. My only note, because I am a waver, make sure you fully finish out your wave where you want it to go. Don't let it disappear. And you want to make sure that wherever you start, you want to make sure that that energy is present through whatever joint you want to integrate. It's my one baby note. She did a pretty good job of that. Then it's so interesting to have one singer and with her tone, and then for her, she sounds so innocent. Like, her tone is so like high. Of course, like it's a falsetto, but it sounds very calm, right? Like peaceful, angelic almost. It kind of approaches in that way. But it's really nice because she's teetering on a whistle tone. Not really a whistle, but like really high in falsetto, and how she hits those runs was beautiful. Yeah, it's just boom, boom, boom. It's just, it's really, really nice to see how they do that. String. Even there too, sometimes when you see people do isolated chest bounces, I actually just recently reacted to 1 Million in a Street Woman Fighter dance survival show. They did something not quite that, but they did it with their hip and they were off. And I touched on it, how like not everybody was accenting from the same part of their body. They were. And that's honestly really impressive. Everybody was. That's very impressive, especially if you're going with a camera angle shot like this. You really want to make sure everybody's on the same page, and they were, because you're asking for criticism if you're not. That part right there, she goes, hey. I'm saying in a lower octave. It's how she does her mouth. Like, she just doesn't just hold it. She goes, hey. Like, she actually moves the micro. That's what's most impressive about it, is that there's not a single time where any of them look like they're, like, it looks like that's how they would actually sing it, but like cool, you know? Then she goes, welcome to the, like, I would do that, welcome to the puppet show. It feels so good. I love this where it just quickly goes back. Super fun. Yeah. this is definitely, they could probably, I know they probably have more physically demanding choreographies just based on the conversations I've had, but I really like the tastefulness of this. Yeah. And it's nice that they didn't have everybody hop, they only had my front people hop. It just made it a little bit different. Yeah, that boom and out, but my front person just went down with it. Dun dun dun. Hold on. Did everybody do it at the same time? Let's see. Oh, yeah, I think so. It's just a camera cut. And they look over and they finish. I love that. That was really, really cool. Yeah, what a great start. This was awesome. I mean, I feel like there's been a lot of people who've recommended ones to me, but because they just recently did a comeback or they just released this, I thought it was a perfect time because it looked, you know, it looked cool, the visuals, at least the thumbnails did. So I'm like, might as well. And they had a choreography visual, and that's what I love seeing. So, but all in all, what a great start. I loved it. There's so many facets of it outside of just the routine that I really liked, and that means that's always a good thing. And I see that they are pretty successful, and so I'm hopeful for their success moving forward. That was great. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I was helpful in some way. If you're a fan of this group, let me know. I definitely really liked this. I liked this song in particular. I may add it to my Spotify because it's just the vibe. I like it, you know? I'm always looking for new music, and I think this is a really great start, an avenue in the K-pop genre, at least for my playlist. And yeah, if you want to see more K-pop reactions, or I do react to Street Man Fighter, Street Woman Fighter. I'm currently in the process of doing the second season of Street Woman Fighter. I have a ton of content on YouTube, but I also have a Patreon that has exclusive videos, meaning that they're early release there. They eventually make their way to YouTube, but just on a different schedule. And also any blocked content that I have on my channel in particular is on Patreon as well. So you can go check all of that out if you feel, if you like the kind of analysis I do. There's probably gonna be more in the future from this group, but this was, I mean, I really liked this. Was cool. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.